I was always the kind of person to stubbornly reject new generations at first after the second generation, and Generation 5 was no different. Though I played through the game and enjoyed my experience and the graphics, the Pokemon were all but appealing to me. I finally grew accustomed to my superior, but still wanted to find other companions that I actually liked. For a while I had been hoarding gold nuggets, among other rarities, to sell for money in preparation for EV training that special Pokemon, like a proper trainer would. It wasn't until that particular day in the depths of Relic Castle that I found that special Pokemon. I was originally there for the storyline, and, as usual, was killing off the Team Plasma grunts with relative ease. Their Dark-type Pokemon were no match for my Minishao. Now, typically, when I'm doing such a thing, I'll use repels to ward off any pesky wild Pokemon, but that was the case for this time as well, for a while. My last repel quickly wore off, and with a groan of frustration, I had to press on. My first encounter happened in a few steps. Great. I entered the battle with my superior, hoping to get it over quick, when a shocking sight beheld my eyes. A shiny Cofagrigus. I'd never seen a normal one, let alone a shiny one, and I instantly knew it was something I wanted. I've been drawn to creepy things for as long as I can remember, stories, characters, monsters, so, this was perfect. In my excitement, even if I had known, I still would have overlooked the peculiarities of this particular Cofagrigus, like how its sprite showed it gaping open on occasion. It was difficult, but I carefully pounded down its health to a reasonable level, and crossing my fingers, I sent out a Pokeball. Success on my first try. Well, laughing to myself, I jokingly named it Creephe, with an H, after a typo that a friend made that for some reason I found hilarious. Overjoyed, I immediately admired the catch in my party. I left the spot blank from the beginning in hopes that I would find a Pokemon in this generation that I adored, and it was finally filled. Although I was itching to give Creephe a try, I realized that he might not be the best choice against the opponents I was about to face. Shrugging it off and intending to train him later, I took a step forward. A message popped up instantaneously. I read it, extremely curious.
Creephe is hungry. Feed it a gold nugget?
Weird. While I would have been interested to see the outcome, I still wanted to save as many as I could for cash or vitamins, so I selected no and continued. Not long after that I fought another grunt, sighing heavily at first, remembering I had forgotten to switch to my Minishao, but oddly enough it was the Pokemon that came out. I could have sworn Superior was in the first slot. Hastily defeating the grunt, I shrugged it off and went forward. I was challenged again. At least I have a fighting type, I mumbled to myself as the battle started, but I had spoken too soon. My mouth dropped open when, instead of my Minishao, I was looking at the back of my Zebstrika. Extremely confused now, I struggled to win and open my party afterwards. Even if I had been expecting it, I couldn't have prepared for what I saw. My Minishao and my Superior were both completely absent from the party. Were they gone? Outraged, I felt like yelling at my DS, but I knew that wouldn't help anything. Was this some sort of glitch? Had they rushed the release due to all the hype? I couldn't say, but I wasn't ready to give up. After all, I still had 3 other besides Cofagrigus to use, right? I was about to engage yet another Plasma member when I was greeted by the same prompt as before.
Creephe is hungry. Feed it a gold nugget.
I was already too pissed to deal with this, so with a hard pound of the A button, I chose no. Soon after I was fighting the Plasma guy. I should have anticipated it, but my Zebstrika wasn't sent out. Furious, I took out my anger of the Liepard and checked my party. Oh god, everything gone. Everything was gone except for that stupid Cofagrigus. Creephe would be no use against the dark types, but I didn't care anymore. It was after I had caught this stupid thing, so maybe it was to blame.
Creephe is very hungry. Feed it a gold nugget?
Flashed on the screen again, and I finally lost my cool. Refusing to feed the greedy thing and running into the next grunt, I was fully prepared to see this nuisance faint and get whited out. The grunt sent out a Liepard. Perfect. I was about to select attack when the game suddenly grew a mind of its own.
Creephe used Bind.
What? Does it even have that move? I watched as its ghost-like arms enveloped the foe. I don't remember Bind ever looking like that.
Liepard used Struggle.
How's that possible? Struggle is only used when no other move can be used. Don't the Pokemon of trainers normally have full PP at the beginning of battles? And then my stomach went cold. I stared in shock as the Liepard writhed out in my Creepy's powerful grip, letting out its cry. Creepy's mummy special ability activated, and the bandages launched out to constrict it even more.
Creephe used Crush Grip.
I knew for sure it didn't know that move, but nonetheless the Liepard was damaged. It fainted in a single blow, actually, unable to even cry once more as it's customary. But it wasn't over. Slowly, Creepy's arms dragged the motionless feline towards his body and yanked it inside. The coffin slammed shut, and the match ended. I was shaking by then, wondering how they could put something so terrifying in a children's game, when a message came up. Creepy.
Are you still not enjoying your Pokemon team? I did. They were all wonderful.
It finally dawned on me. This wasn't a glitch. The Cofagrigus had been eating my team all along.
However, I'm not satisfied. Feed me, Spencer.
Chills ran down my spine. My trainer was named Ash. Spencer is my real name. Before I could even press a button, I was abruptly thrown into a battle. I was opposing Creepy as myself. I glared vehemently at the screen, at that mocking smile. The game went on by itself.
Ash used Mean Look.
Ash's sprite shared the scowl I was wearing.
Creepy used Taunt. A proper taunt would feed his Pokemon before trying to make them stronger. You should have fed me when you had the chance, Spencer.
I swallowed and shook the DS violently. I attempted a run, but as expected it failed. Couldn't escape.
Creepy used Bind.
I wailed in agony, knowing what was coming.
Ash used Screech. Creepy used Scary Face.
Its grin distorted and curled at the edges, its jagged teeth gnashing together as the coffin door swung open like a yawning mouth.
Ash used Struggle.
It was too late. I was already being dragged in, and then it happened. The Crush Grip finished the job, and with a sickening crack, I saw myself yanked in, limp. The screen went black briefly, interrupted by a maniacal laugh, and a close-up of those menacing red eyes. I chucked my DS at the wall, trembling, and fled the room. Since that event, I haven't been able to sleep. I will keep the lights on, but whenever I accidentally doze off, I see that face. That scary face haunting me in my dreams. I tried restarting the game, hoping to evade that vicious, shiny Cofagrigus, but each time I'm greeted by pitch black. Looking at my trainer card yields nothing but what might be a sleeping Cofagrigus, and the trainer name always shows up as Eaten.